They call it the Green Graveyard, a place where the maps end and where the shadows have a heartbeat of their own. Marcus didn't believe the local legends. He thought it was just wood and leaves. He didn't know the jungle was waiting. Within 3 steps, the sky vanished. The canopy sealed shut above him, trapping him in a perpetual, suffocating twilight. The most terrifying thing wasn't what he heard, but what he didn't. No birds, no insects, just a heavy, dead silence. Then came the smell,
The earth
copper and
demands
rot.
its due.
The very trees seemed to bleed a
We
thick,
offer this
dark
life,
sap that pooled
great
like old
sun.
blood. Out of nowhere, the fog rolled in. It wasn't cold, but warm and damp, smelling faintly of old decay and stale breath. That was when the whispers started. A low, scratching sound that seemed to come from inside the bark of the trees themselves. It sounded like a voice he knew. His sister's voice, calling his name from deep within the thick, impenetrable darkness. Logic failed him. His compass spun madly, stripped of its direction by a strange, magnetic pull deep within the soil. The jungle offered a path, a clean trail cutting through the thorns. It felt like an invitation, a trap ready to spring. The vegetation moved with terrifying speed. A whip of thorns missed his throat by inches, drawing a thin line of blood. It wasn't just growing, it was hunting. The flora sought flesh, reaching out with hungry, parasitic roots to claim his warmth. He wasn't the first. Half buried in the mud lay the remnants of an old expedition, their gear thoroughly digested by the earth. He felt the pressure of 1,000 stairs. Every knot in the wood, every split in the bark, became an eye. As he turned to run, the ground gave way. The jungle floor opened up, swallowing him into the dark belly of the beast. He dragged himself from the mire, falling into a subterranean ribs of the earth cavern. Above him, the roots hung like hanging nooses. The labyrinth was alive. Behind him, the wooden walls groaned and shifted, sealing his exit and forcing him deeper into the dark. Sickly green fungi pulsed with a rhythmic, sickening light. It beat in perfect synchronization with the frantic pounding in his own chest. The spores filled his lungs, tasting of sweet rot. The shadows began to dance, taking the shapes of men who never returned. He wasn't alone in the deep. Things that had evolved in the dark, skin like bark and legs like needles, watched him. Beautiful blossoms opened in the dark, revealing rows of calcified, human-like teeth. The jungle didn't just grow, it hungered for meat. A discarded radio crackled to life, spitting out static and 50-year-old screams. The past was trapped here, replaying over and over again. The jungle tightened its grip. The trees compressed, closing the gaps, trying to crush his ribs like a slow, wooden vice. His light fell, tumbling into a deep pit. For a single, terrifying second, the beam illuminated a carpet of white human skeletons. From the roots above, a warm, metallic rain began to fall. The canopy was
Join us in the
digesting something
shadows.
massive, dripping
We're
its
waiting
feast
for
down
you.
below. Even his own shadow betrayed him. It moved against his will, peeling itself from the stone wall, stretching into something monstrous. He stumbled into a thicket of pale roots that clawed at his legs like dead hands reaching up from a shallow grave. Then he saw it, the core of the labyrinth, a massive, beating heart of black wood pumping corruption through the entire forest. The old tapper's warning echoed in his mind. Once the jungle hears your heartbeat, it will never let you leave. Madness took hold. He struck at the pulsing wood, unleashing a flood of black bile and a roar that shook the earth. The earth convulsed, spitting him back into the torrential rain. The sky was gone, replaced by a raging, thrashing sea of green. The infection was inside him now. The roots had breached his skin, weaving through his veins, claiming his muscles for their own. Every tree around him took shape. They weren't just logs and bark, they were the previous victims, forever frozen in wooden agony. He ran blindly, but there was no escape. The path he trod closed instantly behind him, erasing any hope of retreat. The whispers grew into a deafening roar. A colony of wooden mimics stood waiting, wearing the faces of everyone he had ever loved. The jungle floor rose up to meet him. Ribs of solid oak burst from the mud, trapping him in a living cage. His mind began to fracture. The memories of his life were fading, replaced by the ancient, cold thoughts of the roots below. He bled, but it was no longer red. The transformation was nearly complete. The human was dying, the plant was taking root. Dragged into the hollow of the oldest tree, he was placed into the womb of the woods. The final digestion had begun. Suddenly he saw them all. He felt the pain of 1,000 dead men, their consciousness bound together in one eternal, agonizing loop. He tried to scream, to assert his humanity one last time. But the jungle stole his voice, turning his breath into spores. The flesh hardened. The capillaries became wood. His heartbeat slowed, matching the agonizingly slow rhythm of the ancient trees around him. The struggle was over. Where Marcus once stood, a new sentinel now guarded the boundary, waiting for the next curious soul. By morning, the storm had cleared. The green graveyard was quiet once more, hiding its teeth beneath a beautiful, sunlit canopy. Because the jungle never truly sleeps. It just waits. And somewhere out there, another explorer is about to take the first step.